what's Missin Curfew? It's when you kind of play guilty, but you show up.
How nice is a green light on the road, though? No practice tomorrow, no plane, just go.
Scotty Upshaw in the clear, and he scores! Right in front, scores!
A few laughs, a little bit of fun, and obviously a lot of hockey talk.
You're listening to Missin Curfew.
Fellas, before we dive into these curfew calls, let's not forget, this show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Fellas, coming to you from Hall Pass Media, Newport Beach. This is Missin Curfew, Curfew Calls edition. The Updog, Jay Swish from his sick. Look at that nice little painting. The painting was a gift, Todd, and there's a nice little couch there in Scottsdale. Off-season content, boys. How we doing? Curfew Calls. I love this shit. Feels like I really get to know, even though I know our fans are beauties.
Yeah. Yeah. Take a break from a little summer golf match to come in and shoot the shit, get some questions from the fellas. And what's funny is it seems like the questions, they're similar in fashion to the beauties that always call in, whether they're just stoned or drinking beer or...
We encourage them to be stoned and drunk.
It's usually you fucking idiots at home call us when you're just tuned up. Half the time we can't understand what you're asking, but we know what you're asking.
Yeah. Swish, you did a couple at Christmas time.
Yeah. No, I've told the story early on in my curfew days during my rookie year here. One time, I think it was probably Christmas 2024, so about a year and a half ago, I called in to Curfew Calls, just shit-faced at Britt Hideout in Old Town. And I don't even remember what I said, but it never got played. So maybe I'm going to have to call in again as like a burner account and just ask a question, because I don't know how that did get airtime back in the day, but I forget what it was. We got to find it.
Yeah, we need to track that down. Yeah, I mean,
it was good. It was high-quality content. I remember the question. I don't know what it was, but it was something borderline fucked up.
I
guarantee that.
Your hat right now is just the slightly tilted chin.
Yeah, chin, baby.
Oh, yeah. So the reason why I rock my hat tilted, boys, is because one of my favorite pitchers of all time, a closer named Fernando Rodney, used to come onto the hill, and he'd have that bitch just cocked. So that's why I always rock it. Sometimes, when I'm a little stung, I go to Fernando Rodney tilt.
It's so funny you say that. I did a video, I don't know, fucking back during the season, and I had my hat, not quite that, but sideways, and a lot of people were like, who do you think you are? Fernando Rodney? I'm like, fuck, that guy was a fucking lights out, man. He's lights out. Yeah. But his was like how Troy G. Ward used to put it after someone made a bad play. He would put it like almost that way.
Yeah, so my dad's best friend, shout out to Dave St. Peter, was the Minnesota Twins president for 30-odd years. And when they acquired Fernando Rodney one year, he got me a signed game-used Fernando Rodney bucket. So it had his number in there, 56. He signed the left side of the bill where he'd cock it, and it was like a 7.5 fitted. So I wear it sometimes. It's a special occasion hat for me, but I do have a signed Fernando Rodney bucket, game-used. So it's pretty sick.
I love that. If we're talking closers here, if we're talking counties, if we're talking closers, Updog used to be a closer off the ice. He closed every deal he get his hands.
Louisville Slugger.
He was better than Mariano Rivera back in the day closing games. But imagine meeting Mario Rivera. How do I say it, please?
Mariano Rivera.
Thank you. Coming out to enter Sandman at Yankee Stadium, and had one pitch. He had a cutter, and everyone knew it was coming, and he was just lights out. Like, how sick must that have been of him running out to enter Sandman? Like, here I come, boys.
Probably the most exhilarating, job that you could have 5 minutes a night.
Yeah.
You come in and you have between 8 to 15 pitches.
And just let it go.
And you throw them as hard as you can.
And this guy, everyone knew it was coming. Cutter, backdoor cutter, and he just fucking...
And then you have a big chew in there. You take a little sea bomber. You get out with some blood flow, and you just let it rip. He's just
take the Cialis to go closing game.
Yeah,
is all the time.
If you were a closer, would you take the Cialis like right before you're coming out, like?
No, or like chewing it in the 7th inning. I'd be chewing it up in the fucking stretch. Yeah.
7th inning, he's like, oh, I better take a nibble of the Cialis in case I get the call to close this game out here.
Yeah.
Need a little blood flow. Uppy be a pitcher, didn't wear a cup either, right? So you want a little flow coming out there for the fucking 9th inning.
You got to love the guys that have the big dipper and they're spitting as they're grabbing their wrench and they're swinging the shaft to the side and they're looking at the seams on the ball going, which fucking seam do I fucking grab on?
I used to love watching Nick Swisher play because he was a switch hitter, but every time, no matter, he would always have his dip in facing the pitcher, and he could barely see over that lip because he had just a whole can of Copenhagen in there. It was unreal.
Dude, one of my favorite players. And I used to date this girl back in the day, and her best friend was was married to Nick Swisher. So she got me a signed Swish jersey that said, "Hey, O'Brien, keep doing your thing, Nick Swisher." And I love Swish, right? Ultimate glue guy. And then right after we went to fucking Tahoe, before COVID hit, I was supposed to go up to Action Park Media and do a Nick Swisher podcast. But I had
You were deathly
I had COVID before COVID was COVID, and I'm like, remember my old place? We had to walk up the stairs. Like I tried to walk up the stairs, and then I was like, called Cons. I'm like, dude, I can't do this. He's like, you're bailing on Nick Swisher. I'm like, dude, I can't even get. I was gonna Uber up. I'm like, I can't even get in the Uber. So I missed my opportunity. But I love Swish, man. He was the ultimate glue guy, Swishy.
Yeah, no, one of my favorite players, switch hitter. He just seemed like one of the guys around the clubhouse that had a little hockey guy in him, Obes. And
Big time.
actually, one of my friends ran into him on a golf outing. I think it was somewhere in Southern California the last couple of years, and he gave him some butter golf hats, Swish. And they're like, "Oh, that's cool. Like he's a former hockey player. What's his name?" Like, he told him my name, and they're like, his nickname's Swish too. And I guess he looked at my buddy and he was just like, "No, I'm the real Swish." So it's pretty. Yeah. But J.R. Smith is the real Swish as far as I'm concerned. That's my favorite team Swish. J.R. Swish. He's a bucket.
J.R. Smith could stroke a three, and he's a sick golfer. He does a podcast, right? A golf podcast now, right?
Yeah, with Stephen Malbon,
the
owner of Malbon Golf.
Yeah. He's a stick. He's like awesome. He's a low handicap. Like I'm talking like a 2 or a 3. But what he was known for taking his tarp off at the parade or during the game, or what did he do with his tarp off back in the day for the Cavs?
Yeah, when they won the championship, he didn't put his tarp on from like June to October, and he was he was all tatted up. He was batted up, so he just, sick ink. But he was just one of those guys, Obi. He was just a microwave, man. And you just get him the rock and talk about shoot to get hot, shoot to stay hot. That was the definition of J.R. Swish.
Dude, I loved watching the Cavs back in the day. But do you remember the game 1 against the Golden State where JR fucked up the timeout or game
timeout, yeah.
And LeBron was looking at him like, you dumb fuck. And I'm sitting there, I got money on the Cavs. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. Well, J.R. Smith fucked everything up. They lost that game and got swept.
I think JR used to smoke at halftime, so he's probably just still a little faded,
Dude, I used to go to hoops games, when I played for the Avalanche, went to tons of Nuggets games. Where else had a basketball team that I played? Tampa, no. I don't know.
The Bucks.
Yeah,
fellas.
Yeah,
I have some news back here.
Okay. Ooh.
We have located the J Swish call.
Oh my
way!
Wow.
We have found it. We have it downloaded. And would you boys like to hear it?
I mean, yeah. We're gonna be our fuck. Should we bring it up as our first one?
Should we do our first one?
Yeah, let's play it.
Okay, before we play it, I'm just going to touch on last year's curfew call. But anyways, I want to Kyle, thank you for finding that. We'll play that one.
We'll play it in a little bit.
We'll play that one first.
No rush.
When I went to a lot of Nuggets games, and I used to watch these guys come out, and I'm like, I was a stoner back then. Smoked weed every. I was stoned at the game too, and I'm looking at these guys, and I'm like, this guy's baked. Like, this guy, like he's baked.
Yeah.
I had good seats, right? Not on the wood, but like 10 rows, 8 rows, and like behind the bench. I'm like, I think a lot of them smoke.
It takes a stoner to know a stoner.
I'm like, this guy's just as stoned as I am here. Does he want a hot dog too, or what? I think they grow up playing stone, so I don't think it's that bad of a thing, Swishy.
No, I mean, one of your stops along the way too was in San Antonio. They had with the Spurs there.
Yeah.
So every time you go into a jungle game, and especially after a Spurs game to the away team, in the locker room, first of all, the shower heads were like 10 feet high because that's be able to fit the big fellas in there. But you'd always see like just residue of blunts or joints like right in there, just in the, kind of like the little like funnel back into the, showers where drains out, but you'd always see like just residue of dope in there.
Yeah.
Sure, if you come in there the night after or whatever, it was always funny.
It's always funny too, like when you're staying at the same hotel as them, you get in the elevator with them, and then they come in, you're like, oh my God, this guy's a monster.
Yeah.
Like
I thought you were gonna say, holy fuck, it smoles like pot.
Well,
I remember,
too, but I was probably worried about myself smelling like pot. I'm like, is that me or him?
Yeah, there was always you had to blow it up through the fan and put the towel under the door.
I put the towel under the door, and then I used to bring the Downy and put it on the toilet
roll. Put the Downy sheets in between the toilet roll and just blow.
And blow my weed out there.
Yeah.
You think that actually worked? Do you think it actually?
I mean,
I fooled myself.
I think it helped.
It helped. Speaking of Spurs, shout out to the Heat Daddy, Danny Heatley, Heater, Tom Ford head to toe. He came to San Antonio, and he must have bought courtside seats for me and him. I bet you we must have cost the last 7 to 10 home games. He's like, because I got 4 in the hardwood if you want to go again tonight. Finally to the point where Tom Rowe was like, hey, boys, I heard you're sitting the courtside again. I'm like, it's Heater, man. Heater. I think guys made fucking $50 million. What am I going to say, no to him? So one day we come out, and the basketball court's set up at AT&T there. And I don't know if you remember in Huntington Beach when I dunked in that video.
Sure do, yeah.
Yeah,
That
so
was that Travis Matthews.
Yeah, Travis Matthews. So I knew I could dunk while traveling, like not dribbling, just give me a running start and I could dunk. And Tom Rowe was out there. I'm like, T-Rex, I bet you I can dunk this. He's like, no chance you can dunk it. I'm like, listen, if I no travel, not by the rules, but give me a running start from you pick and I can guarantee I can dunk it. He goes, okay. I go, if I win, if I dunk it, I get to pick a day off whenever I want. No matter what the schedule dictates, no matter where we are, no matter anything, I get to pick a day off. He said, sure, do it. And I went in and fucking, boom, slammed it down. I love it. He's like, I'll let you know when that day off is, fella. And I just waited to the perfect day. And he's like, practice tomorrow. I'm like, actually, you know what? There is no practice tomorrow, boys. We got the day off. And
For the whole squad.
the whole squad.
Nice.
Yeah, the whole squad.
Fucking
Yeah.
white man.
I think I took it on
love that.
I think I took it on a back-to-back. Like, so we had a day, and then he's like, tomorrow off, practice Monday. And I went, no, boys, just take that Monday too, because I probably had something lined up in Austin or something, right?
Good for you.
I needed that day. But last year's Curfew Calls, I'm over in, I was in, where was I? Rome, and then I went to Amsterdam. But anyways, as these Curfew Calls started to roll out, I kind of forgot what I had talked about. And, Princey's obviously using the juicy clips, and I'm over there with Mac Miller, and every clip that comes out is me talking about pussy. And she finally just looks at me. She's like, are you like, is this what every clip's going to be like? So I had to text Princey and be like, fella, I want to be a team guy here, but I'm on a vacation in Europe with my girl. If you could just maybe save the ones about puss till, every clip. I remember I texted you. I was like, every clip, Swishy. I was like, this is me telling another fuck story. This is me talking about another broad. I'm like, she literally just looked at me on the vacation. Was like, is every clip going to.
Is there a good time to share a clip like that? Like, or just,
Well, just not when I'm on a romantic fucking European vacation with her, right? Like trying to figure out if we want to live together. And,
Yeah, I feel like you wouldn't, odds are you're not getting in the doghouse over there, though. You might get in the
Well, I had to fucking say to her, like, back or listen, like, it's like,
Just turn your phone off.
It was fucking 15 years ago this happened.
Let's just take in the scenery
Yeah,
in Italy.
look
Like,
at
turn
that.
your phone off.
Yeah, right?
Put it away like White Lotus.
Yeah.
And we'll look at
Wow, what a
Rouge
show.
back.
What a show.
Yeah, what a show. Yeah.
What did you think of that season of White Lotus? I really, really slow. And then, did you see all of it?
I did.
Yeah. And then
I thought it could have been better, but
me too.
the way they film it and I think the acting is all great. I just think the storyline really was odd until the last episode was just everything. And usually you get a couple of those episodes.
I know. I was waiting for it. Have you seen it, Swishy?
No, I don't really watch TV shows, boys.
Yeah. Well, if you're looking for one, go back to season 1. I mean, season 1 they're in Maui. It's really great. And season 2 they're in Sicily. It's a good one as well. If you're looking for some hot chicks, the second one has some Sicilian broads that are smoking. Yeah. But I was waiting for it. I knew it was gonna get. I mean, the funniest thing is what's the other?
Sam Rockwell.
Oh my god,
That's great.
He's like, what did he say? He's like, next thing you know, I'm just getting.
He's over there and he's chasing pussy and he's just a runaway, and that's why he's in Thailand.
Yeah.
And then he's like, next thing you know, I take home one of those little she boys, and then I had just visions of me being the she boy, and some guy pounding me, and then he's like, so I put an ad out in the Craigslist, and I had a guy come over and just
he's telling his best Swishy's telling his best buddy this. He's like, next thing you know, there's 26 times I had these Thai boys over. He's like, I got it out of my system though. I was like, I'm watching this with my girlfriend going, holy fuck, though. And the best scene is, finally the other guy. Who's the other actor? He's hot right now because of it too.
He's great. He looks like a poor man's Mackel. He's less hair.
Yeah, he does, but same kind of demeanor as Mackel.
Yeah, same outfit.
So he's leaving Bangkok to go back to see his girl, and they got all kinds of Thai hookers in the room. And this buddy, Sam Rockwell, runs down the hallway. He's like, whoa, you can't leave. You started this. You got to help me finish it. He's like, I'm out of here, man. He's like, no, you started this. You got to help me finish it. So
Walter Goggins.
yeah.
They're saying the rumors are Egypt for the next one, but
really,
yeah, we'll see.
I heard a ski. I heard a ski resort.
Ski resort needs to happen. That'd be great.
No, but somewhere like where's the one? Yeah, like
supposed to be Matterhorn or
like the French or Swiss Alps or
Verbier or somewhere like that, where all those French girls just get
like Swiss.
Yeah,
Swiss Alps.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it in Austria. You want to do it in Switzerland.
Yeah,
or Germany. Well, Switzerland.
French Alps. Yeah, whatever.
It'd be cool to do an Aspen one though. You could do a sick Aspen one.
Yeah.
You could do a sick Aspen one, and like all the rest. Yeah, fuck yeah. maybe get a little cameo in there. So, boys, where I was going with that is I'm going to try to keep it on the rails a little bit this year. And if I get off the rails, call a TV timeout or Swishy, say, get off the glass note.
Yeah.
I gotta kind of keep her under the rails this year. But so let's start with the first one. Our boy Jay Swish, good find, fellas. Let's hear what Swishy had to say.
Yeah, this is an old one, boys. This is a throwback.
I like it.
Fella. What up, baby? It's 93.1 DJ Swish over here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Fellas, how we doing? Up, dog? The big fella. What it is, baby. Thursday night local time, just past 10:20 Pacific Standard. Fellas, thinking about sliding into one right now, maybe heading to Moxie's, all in on the chin. Talk about some trim. Hey, how are you? Just opened up a couple weeks ago, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, calling in, seeing what the boys are doing. Hope you're doing well. Got to get on the show here soon, but what are we thinking for the Desert Dogs this year, playing at Mullet Arena? Obviously, guys like Clayton Keller having a big year last year. Can he do it again? Can Nicky Schmaltz stay healthy for a full 82? I think if he does, he's an 80-point guy. Some key additions. Matty Dumba, good fella. Western Leaguer, good chin, throws both. But just wanted to hear your, thoughts on the newly improved Desert Dog roster. I think finally got a National League roster in here. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but they definitely could make a push. So let us know. Let us know when you're coming to the Valley too. We'll tee it up. Maybe hit Bottle Blonde. Anyways, boys, as always, stay clean, stay focused, and above all, when cons do
That was all.
I mean, listen.
What was the last that we?
That's a collector's item too, because
Yeah,
you're talking about the
it's-
Coyotes, right? And now, nobody knew then that it was going to be the Utah Hockey Club, and he's like,
Fuck,
It had
buddy.
to be-
That's 3 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say it had to be like
That's-
2023.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, 2023 is what we found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Mullet, they played 2 years in Mullet before they went to Utah. Yeah, 3 years.
maybe we'll hit up Bottle Blonde.
Yeah. I wanted to hear that last, whatever you were saying last. And I love that you went, anyways.
Yeah.
Stay clean. Stay.
Anyways.
Oh man, that's so funny. Yeah, that must have been in the summer when they just signed Dumba after whatever.
So
July.
Dumba was there, yeah, like 3 years ago, right? Because Dumba played where last year? Like, this year's in Dallas.
Yeah, he was
Vinny?
AZ, he was in AZ last year, but he got traded at the deadline to Tampa, and then he re-inked that he in 2024 in Dallas on a 2-year deal. So that must have been like July 2023.
Yeah.
How long have you been talking about the chin?
Yeah. How did the chin come up?
It must. I don't know. I think I just like watching UFC. Watching the great referee official Herbert Dean.
Big Herb
Talking-
Bean.
Yeah, I think it's just originated from that. Just finding the chin and having a granite chin. And I remember like Cass would always talk about having to have a good chin. So I think I kind of just ran with what I was hearing, boys.
Cass had a hard head. I don't know about his chin, but he had a hard fucking head. I'll tell you that.
I miss watching Cassie play hockey. He was
Me
fucking
too.
fun.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's a great call. Do you remember how banged up were you there? You said at 10:30 Mountain Standard Time, so you're probably back. You were probably waiting for a girl to come by.
Yeah, or I was just firing it up. I think I was probably like on the golf course is probably what it was. And then you come home and you take a little, siesta. Maybe you get off the course at like 8 o'clock at sundown, come home and just start firing it up again. So I think that's probably what it looked like. I was just about to go back out after having probably like a 12-hour shift on the course. So I think I just balled in. I was just fucking pinned maybe a little high and just let it ride.
Yeah, that's what Curfew Calls is all about. That is exactly, if you're stoned and high and drunk, call in and tell the boys what's going on. Can we talk about how good Bottle Blonde was back in the day, though? It's obviously not what it used to be, but
Kuzo's 30th birthday we threw there.
I had a night in there with the Fact Daddy, Patrick Bordelot, and I think it might have been old Windbag. And I mean, I'll never forget. Like, we were out of the playoffs and fucking, but what a roster in there. Like the service girls were hotter than any service girls bottle girls I've seen anywhere else back then. I think it's changed, but
I don't know. Yeah, it's still pretty good, right? You live there.
so should you ever go there anymore?
Parts of the year, Scottsdale's the best.
It's sketchy down there.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, you got to bring like your Desert Eagle pistol and like
Yeah.
bulletproof vest. It's not perfect.
No, I went like this is probably
Homer's at home, bring a pistol.
This is probably 3 wasted managements ago. when I was still single. I'm like, big guy, let's go down. Let's get us a table, like whatever. And they told me how much the tables were. I'm like, okay, well, let's just get us, get us in.
Get me in.
Get me in. And like Swishy, I'm like, this doesn't feel the same. It's it's not the same. It wasn't. It was different crowd, and the staff wasn't quite like. Look at that.
It used to be classy down there, and
It used to be, but it used to be a little classy. Yes, it did.
Well, I mean, it was like South Vegas. Like Vegas is, always been a little bit of a lipstick on a pig, but there was this class in there. There was some high end talent. Now it's just like, I don't know, boys. It seems like it's like almost like gang affiliated now. You don't want to be caught with your chin untucked down there. That's for sure.
Keep the chin tucked.
So were you still playing Schmaltzy 3 years ago?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was. I just got back from Helsinki, Finland, I think.
Nice. So you were just ready to spend it.
So you didn't have a very good tan. You didn't have a very good tan when you made that call.
No, I did not.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I was probably just working on my base. Like I can get pretty dark, like Russell Wilson, like complexion. You know what I mean? Like I could pass for half a brother, but at that point, no chance. I was loading up the SPF.
Dude, I'll never forget. I came back from Hämeenlinna, which is not Helsinki. It's fucking 20. It's an hour outside. It's a little shitty Finnish town with great people though. But and I was as white as these fucking AirPods things. Like I mean, I hadn't seen the sun in fucking 4 or 5 months, and I come right into Coachella. And everybody's like kind of tanned, and I'm just like, literally, like even Matt Gell was like, "Ooh, fella." I'm like, "Yeah, throw me the SPF here, boys." I haven't seen the sun in, like, literally, I didn't see the sun once in Finland. Did you?
No,
you don't see it.
No,
that's nuts. Yeah,
yeah.
Even Fort Mac, you get it.
Yeah, you don't.
Fucking the skies break and
like you go to the rink at like 8 a.m. or whatever it was, right, Swishy?
Yep.
You get out of there by noon after you run the stairs 14,000 times to do all the exercises the little Finnish, soldiers do. And then you come home, and then at 3 o'clock, it's pitch black, and you're sitting on your couch in Finland going, well, man, I made some mistakes. What happened? I should have fucking stayed in a bit more.
Yeah, you're contemplating, like, what the hell happened to me here? Yeah, because that's just it, Obes. You get home, and it's 12, it's noon, and especially, like, in northern Finland, that sun's going down literally at 12 o'clock every day.
Good league, too. When I went over there, I text Uppy and Loops. I said this because I was so bored. I'd go watch the junior teams come play. Right, I live by the rink. I'm like, I'll go check out fucking period or whatever. These kids were good players, and after the game, they're fucking working out and running the stairs and squatting and deadlifting. And I'm like, these guys are machines. And the young kids would come and train with us that were playing for Hämeenlinna. These guys were machines. I'm like, and sure enough, they've won a couple world championships, some world juniors, and
produce great players, good goalies.
Before we go to our first call, I got a question for you, boys. See, now this is our first Curfew Calls off-season edition. How long did you take? Let's say if you missed the playoffs, how long would you take after the season before you went in for executive workout or a curls for the girls workout or a yoga class? How long would you take away where you're just playing golf, chasing, and drinking?
Probably if I missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
Fucking month and a half.
Yeah.
Probably 6
month
weeks.
And a half. I'm the same way.
Until I got so fucking skinny that I'm like, I gotta lift a weight here or something. Because
I went the other way once. I was like, I'm getting too fat.
Yeah. See, I'd lose my muscle. And then I'd just be like, fuck. You know what? This is gonna be an uphill battle. I gotta get in there and feel a little bit of the pain. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same way. If the years I missed. Probably the middle of May, right before Memorial Day weekend, I probably got back in the gym. Not with my hockey trainer, but just at the sports club where I was probably doing some cardio and some chest to try to take my shirt off at Lupul's party. But not till June 1st did I start training with Sean Scahan and doing hockey workouts. So I literally would take 2 months off. Like if you told guys now that we took 2 months off, Swishy, well, they first of all wouldn't believe it, and it just doesn't happen. How long would you take, fella?
I would go on a 2 or 3 week runner. And I would just go until I would drop. And then I would get in the gym right around, I don't know, mid-May, maybe, just right after Cinco de Mayo if we missed the playoffs. And I'd go in for yoga. I would do yoga and maybe like a little bit of Legree or Pilates.
Oh,
and
Legree is tough.
I wouldn't touch a weight Obes until June 1. There was no chance. Unless it was like...
What's Legree?
Legree's the hardest form of Pilates. It's just not
Kyle, fire up Legree up there for me.
Show
me a girl doing Legree.
Yeah.
So I would go there and
some Bahal. Yeah, Kyle.
I haven't seen his eyes light up like that in a while.
For you fellas out there,
He goes, yeah.
if you,
Swishy, I don't think you can see this, unfortunately, but
if you don't,
I mean, I'm in the classes, so I know what
Lagra. It's called Lagra.
it sounds kind of sexy.
Oh, it's great, man. The outfits. Are you kidding me?
No, this isn't it. This is more
It's on a reformer, Obes. It's like Pilates. It's just it activates the core.
Lagree.
Yes.
See, like, look at that exercise she's doing. That's so good for hockey.
Oh, it's the best.
So I would do that because it was so good for my core. And my
This is Lagree right there, Obes.
yes, right, Swishy?
See, and you could be on one of those reformers. They're big. They're like, but your hips and your back and your abs and your your groins. It's a full. Like
so that would reset everything for me, Obes, before I went into my training. So I would do that, and I wouldn't really focus on weights. And then June 1st would roll around. I was ready to throw around, the heavy dumbbells. But that was always like my May was that regimen of yoga and Pilates and Lagree.
And looking back, like this, like all the stuff she's doing is exactly what hockey players need, right? Hips and groins.
Yeah.
And, and I love Sean Scan. He always got me ready for camp, but like he would throw a workout up on the board.
Yeah.
And if it was Scotty Upshaw or Jordan Smoltz or Shane O'Brien, we'd all do it. Now your body type's different than mine, and yours, like, like looking back, it was just like, here's the workout, do it, do your bike ride, get your track work in, and then you're done and go skate. It's like, fuck, we should have been doing stuff for individuals, right? Which I think they do now more, right? Swishy, it's more guys are getting trainers that are built around them. Like I worked out with Loops. Me and Loops probably shouldn't have been doing the same workouts, right?
No, 100%. But that's why you do personal training, so they understand, like, hey, you blew up your fucking elbow and your shoulder last year. Like, you're going to not do anything over your head, right? So that's common sense 101. But you're right. When you go into group training and it's a bunch of guys and it's competitive and masculine and fucking testosterone everywhere, and guys are like, yeah, put on more weight there. You're like, you know what? Fuck no.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to blow my back out.
I look at the exercises I used to do with Skahan and Scott Prohaska, and I love both those guys, and they help me, get in shape. But like some of the exercises, I was like, fuck, I don't know if this is, really helping me. Like, I don't know if putting all this weight on my back is smart, or doing this deadlift is, I'm sure it's getting me stronger, but is it prolonging my career, Swish? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you should have been doing just dumbbell stuff, single leg, single arm type of stuff, lean you out, work on your foot speed, just get that stuff in play. And for me, like being a weaker kid growing up, like I should have been doing heavier lifting, but it should be calculated, like my lower lumbar spine and my hips, and just, you have to work with each individual athlete. And I think they do that way better now. But as you boys know, and even like when I first came up, it was just so much Olympic lifting and heavy.
Oh yeah.
Heavy was better. And it's like, well, no, we need to be able to move this functionally well and then add speed to different things. So it's changed so much, but we were straight meat sticks.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it doesn't matter who the trainer was. The Olympic lifting is what it was. Like, I remember, I'll never forget, I was staying with Loops at his old pad 600 hook when he was driving up after they missed the playoffs in Edmonton, and they were booing him out of town. He started working.
Mercedes.
Yeah, he started working out. Like, I'm like, you're gonna start working out now? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, can I still stay with you? Like, I'm not quite ready to work out. He's like, yeah, fine. And he was up every morning driving to Venice. And I remember one day he came back and he's like, fuck, my back opens. I'm like, what? He's like, deadlifts. We did these deadlifts and that was the beginning of his back issues.
He was doing it with Morrow, I think.
Yeah.
We should have on Andy O'Brien, who is now the Florida Panthers guy, but he's also Crosby's guy. He does Braden Shen, a bunch of those boys, McKinnon. But just to talk about the evolution of what that exactly was. Like, at what point are you throwing these fucking these dumbbells?
It's a nice outdoor gym there.
It is, yeah. But like the cleans and the fucking jerks,
the Romanian
and the snatches,
the only
snatch I want to be doing it is, you know what I mean? I don't need to be doing this with the 45s on each side.
The Romanian deadlift or the Bulgarian. I'm like, anything that has Bulgarian in it. Like, look at that. Even that.
I used to do that. That's now way more protected.
I used to do that. I don't know if I did that.
Remember the meat stick trainers used to tell you just do like a normal, not even a hex bar deadlift, just a deadlift right off the ground. You're doing like 405. It's like, man, it's Monday. I was boozing all weekend. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
I'm gonna hurt myself.
No, 100%.
The risk to the reward, it doesn't outweigh it ever, especially with all those Olympic lifts. It never made sense to me, and that's how I fucked up my back too. Was in college because we were just lifting like meat sticks. I'm using like A-tape on the back of my back just to get through a workout. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, right? Like, they should shut you down there and be like, whoa.
Like, what are we doing?
Like, get in the pool. And that's another thing. Like, You boys obviously know I love swimming now. Like back in when I played, like that's what I should have been doing too. But we used to do that right there.
Yeah, but that new bar that we're looking at right now, Brand Clark.
Yeah.
That new bar is way better on your back, and it's the Hex bar.
The Hex bar. Yeah.
But it's not. It has open back now to it. So anyway, I don't know. There is this.
Oh, I hate the kettlebells. Remember kettlebells?
For sure.
Whoever invented the
You do need
kettlebell.
this stuff, Obes, to a certain extent, but then you need to fucking make sure your body's just for longevity reasons is.
Yeah. Whoever invented the kettlebell, I should be able to hit him over the head with the fucking kettlebell. Like I used to hate those fucking things, Swishy.
Oh, I know. It's the kettlebells. That's a sneaky bagger too, especially if you're doing like a single leg lunge or a RFE or I don't know. They're hard, man. Or a snatch. You're like, Jesus, I'm bagged.
A snatch, yeah. Like who's doing? Like Uppy said, there was only look at Ike's, young Ike's there. Yeah. Anyways, I wanted to get your guys' opinions. So month for Swishy. I heard Crosby doesn't take more than 2 days off. Like
He has.
did you see that back a couple months ago? When their season ended or whatever, I forgot how long ago it was, that he was skating with the guys that were hurt.
Yeah.
After the season.
It was like 2 days after.
2 days after the season, I'm like, listen, I'm not going to tell Sidney Crosby what to do, but I just can't imagine loving the game that much. Like, I'll sit here and tell you, maybe if I was as good as Sid, I would have loved it that much, but I can't imagine loving it that much, Ups.
I think isn't there a rumor that he has not gone longer than 2 days off
Ever.
like his whole career, or like his.
How is that possible? Will you bring the gear to Europe when you go? Hey, you brings it everywhere. Oh, guess you're fine.
Obes.
Fly private, eh?
Oh, when the Hamber Wilson went to Jackson Hole with Sid one year for All-Star break, he brought his gear to Jackson Hole and found like an outdoor rink and skated over just that break. Like he doesn't take any time off. But you know what? It makes sense for him right now to be skating because in his mind, Obes, he's like, I should still be playing.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Totally.
practicing.
Great point.
That's what he's like. He's like, we should still be playing, and I want to train my body to be able to handle this
So
more years it goes.
wow, yeah. That's exactly what he's thinking. 93-1.
Walking like a real pro there, bud.
There's Fact Daddy. Look at the Fact Daddy huffing and puffing. Look at the chest hair flowing. I used to hate running the stairs too, but I at least I knew that was paying off running the stairs.
Oh,
We used to.
steps.
Well, I wish Richie was on this one, but shout out Jason Saprika. It's called 1-to-1 Fitness. I'd call it 4-to-1 Fitness because there's always four of us in there working out. I am like, change the name here, bud. This is 4-to-1, but we always run the sand dunes over into the county. It was fucking brutal, but like
Good for your feet.
good for your feet, good for your
Ankles.
wind, everything.
Yeah.
And Richie would always be like, come on, Holmes, let's go do it. I'm like, fuck, let's just go like get banged up. Saturday. I know. He's like, no, we'll feel good. We'll do it. And then we'll jump in the water and then we'll go.
Yeah.
And we would do it and I'd feel great. And then we go get banged up.
Yeah, the morning's getting up for the morning sometimes where you. But then when you're in it, you're like, fucking A.
Dude, I used to, when I worked out with Richie, I'd have to get up and drive an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to work out. So workout was at 9. I was up at 7:30 in the car, like half asleep, driving down the highway.
Is that just there's no gym where you were or nothing?
Yeah, no trainers really. I mean, I could have went to Oshawa, which is probably closer, but I knew Soupy and obviously Richie. I played hockey there, right, in Quinte, Red Devil, Belleville area. So I just started working out there. But I drive an hour 5 days a week. Sucked.
Do you remember when you first started working out? Like how old were you? I remember I went in with my dad's buddy when I might have been 13.
Yeah, no.
He had me in there doing bench press with like a bunch of just riggers from Fort Mac.
Riggers.
No, yeah, it was crazy. Like in between shifts, it would be from like 4 to 5 o'clock, and I'd go in there, and I was a skinny little fuck, and it was playing like bantam hockey, and I'm in there learning how to fucking put weights on the, and I just think if that, fuck, I'm trying to think of his name, but without that, I wouldn't have had an idea how to lift the weight prior to me, like, growing and being a good hockey player.
I didn't know anything, buddy. I went to my first under 18 summer camp, right? So that would have been before I played in the OHL, right? And they went, you got to run 2 miles. I'm like, run. What? Run. And they're like, you got to do a chin up. I'm like, what? Like, I never even thought about it. And then I got drafted or whatever, and then started working out then. So I would say I didn't start working out till literally I was 16 years old. What about you, Swishy?
Well, I was a little different because my dad and uncle, they own
gyms.
They own training facility growing up. It was called Acceleration Madison. They used to have a hockey treadmill in there. We would work out all the time. So probably, I don't know, since I was 8 to 10 years old, we'd be in there. They were training, anywhere from college athletes to NFL guys to basketball, NHL guy. So I was always around just, high level athletes, and me and my brother and even my cousin. So, and my sister as well. So we were kind of just almost conceived in that environment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The hockey treadmill. What a fucking,
Yeah.
what a, danger.
Did you
Stepping on that thing for the first time when you never been on it?
Did you guys ever have the feeling of, after Labor Day weekend and you're heading back to camp and you're like, fuck, did I do enough?
Oh, yeah.
Did I do that? Like, I was
Then
like,
after training camp, after that first day,
did I do enough?
this thing is over, you're like, okay, let's just play fucking hockey.
Yeah. And then I get there and get settled in. I'm like, I'm okay. But I would always remember every time I flew, I'm like, did I do enough? I hope I did enough. And then you get there and you're like, yeah, I'm good to go. But throughout my whole career, even near the end, I was always like,
Yeah, I definitely wasn't like, I was comparing myself to myself rather than like, did I gain an edge on these guys or this guy? No, I was just like, am I ready? Do my body feel good?
No, I wasn't comparing myself to other guys. Am I ready?
Yeah.
Can I keep up? Is
But
my
some guys
conditioning?
do. Like, I think Sid probably says, I worked out harder than McKinnon this year. Like I got an edge on all these guys. I worked harder. Like, I don't think like that. I just say I'm ready. Like, I'm either ready or I fucking shouldn't have went to Portugal at the middle of August.
Is that where you went when you were going on your PTO?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might text you up, dog, before I'm like, hey, fella, I mean, not to step on toes here, but do you think this is a good idea before you know? Oh, yeah, no reals. I'm like, all right,
Get back, blow my knee up.
have fun.
Again.
I'll never forget Lupel one day wants to come out and skate with the boys, eh? I don't know if Ruffs was there. Yeah. I'm like, Loops, just so you know, like, this is like mid-August, end of August. I'm like, we're going pretty good. Yeah, I'll come out there. He hadn't skated in fucking a year. More, I mean. We were doing the old 2-on-1 swing groups, and he couldn't get the feet going. I'm yelling, dang, Loops, dang, and he's just fucking trying to dig. And I'll never forget, Getsy was like, Loops shows up, he's like, what, are we letting restaurant bar owners out here now, or what? And I think that might have been the last time Loops ever tried to do a competitive skate. He hadn't played in 2 years. I'm like, fella, this is gonna be, yeah. And God bless him, he tried. But I'll never forget him just trying to dig. So, boys, watching those videos up there, I do miss working out with the boys. We getting there in the morning with Sheldon Brookbank and Loops and the boys. Those were fun times. So, let's mix in. Kyle, what do you want? You want to do a call? Or you want to read the first one here, fella? What do we got? Curfew Calls edition, off season.
All right, boys, we are going to do a call-in. Our first call-in comes from a fella you guys used to play with, so here we go.
Oh, wow.
Fellas, this one's for Uppy. I was at Blues camp with the fellas. Schmaltzy was there. We were teammates. Anyways, we were at Donner's place. Joel Edmondson, Jordan Bennington. Can't remember who lived there, but anyways, it was the one with the basketball hoop.
Do you guys know who this is?
All of a sudden, Uppy comes strolling in. The bong is at the oven with the oven vent going on. Uppy takes a bong rip, says, all right, fellas, I'll see you later. He came strolling from a restaurant down the street. I believe he was on a date. Can you confirm that you've done what Schmaltzy might call the Toke and Poke? Thanks, fella.
That's from Connor Bleakley. I'm not sure if you guys remember playing with him at camp.
Do you know him, Swishy?
I do. He was a first-round pick back in the day. Are we going to answer this question with a bong?
Yeah, I think we should.
Well, there's no secret that Upshaw was ripping bongs back in the playing career. So I mean,
Yeah.
Well, now weed is now I've heard from some guys around the league that they're bringing their pens with them on the road now and stuff. Like it's not looked at like when we played. Like I had to hide my whole career that I smoked weed. Like I remember going in with Mike Gillis and I put a little bit of weight on and he's like, "Are you drinking?" And I'm like, "I'm not drinking." Well, what I was doing was I had the munchies, right? So he's like, "Well, if you're not drinking and you're not fucking doing this, then how have you put on 5 pounds, 6 pounds?" I'm like, I wanted to be like, I'm smoking weed and fucking eating food. That's how. But I was like, so he thought I was lying to him, right? He's like, you got to be drinking. And I'm like, fine. I'm like, man, maybe I just caved in. I was like, I drink some wine at home. But no, I was just eating fucking, probably a slice of pie or 2 at night. But I couldn't.
Totally.
We couldn't tell the GMs.
No, it's looked at so different. I'm looking at our sponsor, DraftKings, right now. Like sports gambling's another thing.
Yeah.
Everything has changed so much in the last 10 years, 5 years. Fucking flying cars coming out here next.
There's Connor Bleakley there.
Yeah, Baker. Yeah, so he was a first-round pick.
Good chin on him.
Yeah, he's got a tucked chin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's he from? Grand Rapids.
He's from
High River, Alberta. Oh,
High
fuck, there we go. That's way up
High
where
River.
I'm from. Fuck.
Yeah. He was a first rounder, and then he had to re-enter the draft because Patty Waugh and the Avalanche didn't sign him. So then he got drafted by St. Louis in like the 5th 2 years.
Normally,
Dude.
got 14.
Dude, fire your fucking agent. And by the way, you know who that happened to? Not as bad as that. Imagine being a first rounder, not getting a deal done, and going 5th. You got to think they offered him something in the first round, right?
Yeah.
So Timmy Brent
Yeah.
was drafted 2nd round of the Ducks.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons I got drafted in the 8th round because they were always there to come watch Tim Brent. And he turned it down, went back in the draft, and the Ducks took him in the 3rd or 4th round. And they offered him, I want to say, in the 2nd round, up a big time dough, $750. He turned it down, ended up signing for like $250 or something. That's fired his agent immediately.
Hey, just scroll up to that. So we're looking at his stats here. I hate to highlight this, but this is an unfortunate career for this kid.
What do you mean?
For Bleak.
Yeah, like look, he played 3 years in the A, and then he has to go to the coast already. Like, fuck.
Why?
Yeah.
Look at that. The Maine Mariners.
Once you end up in Tulsa, your fucking days are probably numbered, eh?
Yeah, the old Tulsa pass.
You're playing in the outdoor rink, and I ain't.
Maine Mariners. Where career is going to die for the Maine Mariners.
I do remember him from camp, and obviously the guys he mentioned are all great players, and you know. Would I go? I never used to really smoke pot and go on dates, though. That's one thing.
Okay, I wanted to just say, he said you had the bong with the oven fan on.
Yeah, like so you blow the smoke.
No, I
up
get
in
that.
the
Okay,
oven
yeah,
fan.
yeah.
But the bong rip, like,
What do you mean you wouldn't go on dates stoned? Really?
yeah, I wouldn't. I would more. Yeah,
No, maybe not. I don't know. We would go to dinner stoned.
I go to concerts stoned.
Do you remember how stoned we got at the dinner in Toronto we had with fucking me, you, and Boley? I literally was never laughed so hard in my
We're at
life.
Harbor 60, or
It was me, you, Boley, and I think maybe Loops, and we got fucking cooked, and we were laughing and
sure.
giggling, and people were probably like, Jesus.
that was the same trip that we went to Montreal after. I bet.
Yeah, it is. That was my farewell tour. So you got the bong, you blow it through there, you go on a date.
And then I
you,
go on a date.
You come back to the house. Does he see you?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, wow. So you went and
I was probably doing some work, right? Just
took
seeing
care of
what's going on.
business. And
Never a guy to leave a good hang for a one-on-one date, though. So
No.
I would question that.
I can verify that.
Yeah.
Because there were so many girls over the years of hanging out with ups that, like, you know, whatever, they would like talk to me about, like, oh, you know, Scott, he just doesn't, you know, you want, you know, I'll never forget, he had this dime piece down, and all she wanted to do after 2 days of partying, Swishy, all she wanted to do was just leave. Like, she just wanted to go to his house, which was like a fucking 7-iron from Loops' house this summer. He's renting Hiller's house. And I mean, she was a dime, and he goes home. He's back 7 minutes later. He's like, fuck it, boys. I couldn't do it. I'm like, how is she? He's like, she's pissed. I think she's going back to LA. Fuck it. Don't worry about it. Let's play some pool. I'm like, this guy is such a beauty that all he had to do was just go home, and she would have been thrilled. And he wanted to play 4-ball with the boys still. You know what I mean? I was like, this guy's unbelievable. So he wouldn't sacrifice a hang for a date, Swishy.
Never leave a good time for a good time. Yeah, that's a guy's guy, though.
I had a pretty good bullpen for an older guy in St. Louis, which wasn't like the perfect pool to be fishing out of because it's a small town. But yeah, I guess when I was part of a good group and a bunch of the guys are young but single, like a little competition there.
I'll never forget the only one guy I did it to, Sheldon Brookbank, my boy Billy Brookbank. He comes into town. This is after we got back from Bonnaroo. And I'm going up to Santa Monica to hang out with this girl. And Bill's like, hey, dinner tonight? I'm like, I can't. I got to go to Santa Monica. And he's like, you're really going to leave me to go to Santa Monica? I go, Billy, typically I wouldn't do this, right? My track record speaks for itself. But this is my only chance. And I got to go. And he was like, he's still to this day is probably blown away. But I'm like, fella, I got to go. And he was only in town for one night. I still kind of feel bad about it, but it had to be done. It had to.
Today, yeah.
I had to. I still feel bad about not bringing it back up. Like, Bill is my boy. Like,
Totally.
Well, you know what I mean? Especially I had one opportunity to go up and hang out with her. I'm like, fuck, fella, I can't bail.
Yeah, that's a tough spot. Your hands are tied, Obes. What are you supposed to do? You got to go close on a 10 or hang out with your boy that you'll probably see again. This girl, that might be a one and done. So, I mean, I don't fault you, but I would. That's a tough call. I with your boy only one night.
I know I put some time in at Bonnaroo, and then like I knew it was on, right? I knew it was on. I knew all I had to do was drive up that 405 and it was on. So I was like, I can't not.
Can't
Go.
close. Can't see this. I got to see this through, Billy.
Do you think?
Billy, I said, Billy, I'm sorry, fella. Fuck, as much as I want to go to the cannery with you, I got to fucking go.
I still think that goes on nowadays with the kids, eh? Like a 22-year-old kid is, man, I got to go up, like, drive 45.
Dude,
this girl I've been waiting, you know.
I would
Will he still get hungry like that?
I hope so. God, I hope so. I saw Mason McTavish at Stagecoach this year. He was with a couple of young guys, and they seemed to be doing some.
Yeah,
They were looking to.
They were hunting.
They were hunting. Yeah. I would love, like, you know how they take the brothers and the mentors on trips and stuff. I would love to go hang around an NHL dressing room and just see what's going on, right? As an old fucking guy that liked to love hanging, like, see if guys are talking pussy or see if guys are talking, like, what are they talking about? What's like, Switch? I would like a little, 2-game road trip to see what these boys are talking about or what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in those rooms, but I have a lot of, obviously, dudes my age that are, and buddies, and a brother. I don't know if it's like it used to be.
Yeah.
Would I be disappointed?
Everyone I talk to, his game's changed. Right, Schmaltzy?
I
Everyone.
think they're talking about creatine and Normatec and the 2-on-1 they could have had last game. I think it's a little different, Opes. Yeah, it's like it was.
Boys were talking about 2-on-1s, but different kind of 2-on-1s.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well,
Everyone says
on that 2-on-1.
If you go into the barn now and you see an old trainer, an old coach, and they just look defeated, and you're like, fuck, man, you're on a nice little road trip here, eh? They're like, yeah, but like, it's not what we were doing when we were there.
Yeah.
Like, games changed. None of these guys want to go out.
Yeah, I was actually.
I'm like, huh?
What?
I go, huh? Excuse me? I wonder.
There was no better feeling than going out on the fucking.
Wouldn't it be an asset? I often think of this, and maybe I just think of ourselves as we're very high quality people, right, to be around. It's like
sometimes.
Don't you think these teams, like, I don't know,
just hire you to bring
like Doug Armstrong. One time he called a meeting and he was like, all you guys here, I know it's like fucking gloomy dog days, but like, show up to the rink with a smile on your face. Like, look at Upshaw. This guy gets more ass than a toilet seat. Comes to the rink, he's got a smile on his face all the time.
Yeah, well, you're not married with kids.
Well, I know, but he's like, but guys, like, smile. You're in the NHL.
Well, I used to say that to guys all the time, but they hate their wives, and their wives are being bitches to them, and they come to the rink, and they gotta
Yeah, so I just wonder, like, wouldn't it be nice if the guys are like, hey, these guys need like some mojo, like. Would you come in and fucking hang out in the room for a couple days and like can you get to know these guys and ask them questions?
Can you picture yourself like who you are now with 2 kids and third on the way? Could you picture playing in the NHL and
being fun all the time?
No. You're the same life you have right now.
Totally.
Where you got to take your kids to school and you got to take your kids here and you got to take Beckham to hockey and Izzy to fucking dance class and tennis class.
Yeah, no,
and then you got the fucking New York Rangers coming in tomorrow night where you got to go out there and play 15 minutes. Do you think?
I don't think I'd have the fire I had. No fire.
Me, I think the single guy had that. You know who talked about that was Carbomb. When Carbomb came back sober, he's like, "Fuck, I lost my edge, Obes." And I think if I would have just been like living the Swishy the married life, and I would, I might have been able to hang on a little bit longer. Maybe I don't know, but I don't know if I would have had that. Yeah. Let's go.
It's a fair valid point.
The chase of going out and having fun and then winning the game the next day, and that kind of fueled me, Swishy.
Obes, a hungry dog runs fast. It's a tale as old as time. You lose your chin a little bit when you're kind of sitting down. I mean, listen, I think there's something about being single, chasing it, just, especially in that life.
Especially when you're playing.
The only thing you have to worry about is the game, right? Like that's your livelihood. That's your life. I just think, I don't know. I mean, I think especially for guys like us, that system works. Maybe some guys, it gets them away from the game and they can kind of decompress with the family. But when you're a runner, lace them up, baby.
Yeah,
wrap it up.
Yeah, you're right. And I guess, if you had a bad game, though, it'd probably be nice, come over the kids and dog, right? You're -3, the dog's there, your kids are there.
Yeah.
That might be nice, but to just stay hungry. And I often think, like, of Getsy, right? He's a great family man, right? He has a beautiful family, and he was the captain of the Ducks, and, like, 4 kids and being the captain of the Ducks. And I used to look at him and be like, how could you do it? I'll never forget. They beat Calgary in the first round, and I was at Big Canyon, and the boys were like, Getsy's at the pool. I was like, oh, fuck, I haven't seen Getz. I'll go congratulate him. I go down there. He's got 3 kids hanging off his ankle. The other one over here. I'm like, I'll catch him next time. And I'm like, that guy's got to get ready to play another Stanley Cup playoff round. And he's got 3 kids at the pool or 4 kids. I couldn't fathom it. I don't know. I just was like, wow, this guy's a real pro. Like to be able to do it.
It's a different animal. And I mean, ultimately what drives you is winning and being a professional, but fucking A, man, it's a different beast when you wake up with kids and you feel defeated most days because you just don't have the energy they need and you need and your wife needs, and fucking you're just like, God.
And then
coaches all
and
over
then
me.
you got Ken Hitchcock breathing down your neck, right? Your wife's mad at you because you forgot to do something, and your kid's going through a tough time at school or something, and then Hitchcock's all over you because you gotta get the puck out on the penalty kill. It's like, I just think it's like a lot. Like, at least when you're single, you're like, fuck it, I'll just leave the rink. You're like, let's just go, let's see what I can do. You don't have to more responsibility. So
Get drunk.
Let's get Swishy. Fuck, tough game. Let's go get drunk, fella. Let's go
get drunk.
Let's go
It's
get
noon.
drunk.
It's noon. Let's go have some lunch beers.
Would you guys ever, before we wrap up here, we only got one curfew call in, but that's okay. That's why we're going to roll them out all summer. But what about the family's wives' room? Would you guys ever poke your head in there? Was that a place you would venture? Like, I would stay clear of it. I remember I had a wife in Denver say to me, why do you never come in the wives' room? And I said, why the fuck would I ever go in there? Like, what is it?
How old were you then?
30?
Yeah, so at 30, I wasn't going in there either. At 35, 33, 34, when I got to St. Louis, I was more like, I had a tight group of guys that were the family guys. So I made an effort to
get to.
I'm an older guy. I don't need to be like that. But at 28, fucking, in Florida or
I was probably 28.
in Philly, like Mike Richards was adamant that wives room was no longer called the wives room because we had more single guys than married guys. So it became just the family room, it was called.
Yeah.
But not even the family room. It was a fucking single guys room.
Yeah.
We used to run that.
Bullpen. That's just called the bullpen. Hey, Swishy, that when if you have that many single guys, the wives' room turns into the bullpen.
No, just because it's more, what it was too, is we had all our buddies in town. Loops would have his buddies from back home. I'd have my brother and, my buddies there. And at some point the wives were getting pissed that all the guys were drinking all the beer and fucking, and we're like, no, this is their room as much as it is yours. See, like, come on.
How funny was it too when you would have a guy that would have a fly-in for the weekend, and maybe she'd been there a couple of times, and he was like thinking about giving her that status of getting into the wives' room, maybe grabbing a couple drinks before the period or in between. And the wives, it was just like the lion's den.
Oh, I
my
know.
God, the stares that those chicks would be getting. I thought it was always hilarious, but you don't want to be going in there just not knowing where everyone's at, what the situation, assess it. Like, you're throwing that poor chick or whoever it is like to the wolves. It could be your sister, Obi, and she's in there and like they're just grilling her up and down.
Yeah, they get the claws out in there.
Yes, they do. That's their territory, man.
I remember the updog used to always give it to me about flying. Why are you flying her in? What are you flying her in for? And I'm like, for a couple days, eh?
For the first afternoon.
And then I'm like,
For the first afternoon, there's nothing.
this is when I was real young, like 25, when we first moved out here. I'm like, and then fucking, I'm like digging half in. He's like, how's it going? I'm fuck, I'm in one. I'm like, I'm in one, fella. He's like, I told you. I'm like, and I took a couple times to learn, but the fly-in's a big
That's
commitment.
a lot of that's a lot of commitment.
A lot of commitment.
If you're not ready for it, just slide it off to the side.
Yeah. Boys, thank you. We only got one curfew call done, but it's always fun snapping around with you boys. Jay Swiss, the up dog. Thank you to KC and the Ice Pick Pickup. That was Curfew Calls.
Fellas.